If you've been told that you have an old soul, or that, even if other people haven't really recognized it in you and you've always just felt like different or outcasted, I'm telling you, you are gold, you are a gem, you are a valuable asset amongst the consciousness, and I'm gonna get into why. First of all, let's actually break down what an old soul is. An old soul is just an entity that, first of all, is conscious. They are highly sensitive to their environment because of their high sensitivity of self. I personally am an old soul, so I can't say definitively each old soul feels like this. I just know from my personal experiences. When I was born, I had an aunt, and she was just like, oh, like I opened my eyes and she was like, oh, she's been here before. So I had people kind of telling me things about myself that I was not privy to. And during this time, I was navigating, the school system. So I was really lost in the sauce in a lot of, you know, aspects. But even in my upbringing and going through like traditional schooling and all of that stuff, society, my peers, like, it was always a disconnect, and I never really understood why. There was a point in time in middle school where I like tried to fit in with like the girls in my grade and stuff, but it never really stuck. I always ended up just being kind of like the underdog, kind of like the outcast. I had my group of friends, and those were my girls, and they were really authentic and genuine in themselves. You know what I'm saying? The thing about us was we just was being ourselves. Like, we didn't care to put on a mask and like feed our ego self and kind of conform to what society said we should be doing. And I just want to say that to all of the people that maintain their authenticity, as you can see, kudos to you, because that's what's in now. Authenticity is in now. And it wasn't in when we was coming up, but that's because the age that we're in now, that's what's being glorified. That's what's being sought after. That's what's being praised. The thing is, right, our parents' generation, those that were born in the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s, our parents were born in an era of rebellion. And what I mean by that is a lot of our parents, their parents did not understand their children. They looked at their children's, culture as like a complete rebellion against the grandparents or their parents' generation, with hip hop and media that was emerging at the time. It was just a complete rebellion. And they were the ones who had us. And so a lot of us have a rebellious spirit in us as well, or a rebellious nature about us as well. There is now an influx of the energy that we came with on the planet, and I feel like it is because of us, because we came in and raised the frequency on the planet. These old souls, the same ones. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, give yourself credit where it is due. Give yourself credit. A lot of the times, we overlook a lot of our natural powers and our natural instincts. And I'm gonna say powers because it is a power. And when you kind of start training your mind to look at things in a certain light, that's when you return all of that energy that they are trying to give away back to yourself. For example, you may not realize that it is a superpower to be very intuitive and very psychic, but it is, because not every person is as sensitive and psychic, because that's what that is. Your high sensitivity, your high intuition is working in symbiosis, and this is creating the ability for you to be psychic. This is creating the ability for you to see things that have yet to take place on this realm at this time. The frequencies that are being emitted around us from our sun, solar and core sun, inner sun, we are receiving all of these frequencies, and it is allowing us to transmute the energy that was existing here within this prison system called the 3D Earth. We are transmuting it into higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of thinking, freeing yourself, literal keys to take off shackles that are binding you to this realm. That's what these old souls that came in, that's what we're doing. We are alchemists, right? When you understand that your DNA holds everything that you need to unlock yourself. That is what the Akashic record is. The Akashic record just simply states that your DNA is the library of ancient knowledge. So when you understand that the frequencies that are being emitted all around us, we are able to transmute them and use them as the keys to unlock what is already existing within us. That is why we are alchemists. That is why we are old souls. And that is why we have the ability to transcend the factions of the 3D. But that's also why you weren't ever meant to fit in. You would have never fit in. Does that make sense? I feel like for a lot of old souls, it went one of two ways for us. There was you either attracted everyone to you, but you weren't really operating like that. You know what I'm saying? You were a very genuine soul. You were very intentional with self and with others. And so it never was a situation where it was like, oh, how can I benefit? How can self benefit from the fact that, you know, all of these people are attracted to me? And I'm not talking on like a romantic level. I'm talking about energy attracts, right? That's all we're doing, matching frequencies with beings and things around us. So it either went that way for you, or it felt like you completely repelled, and like there wasn't really anyone really like being attracted to you, and you kind of was like a lone wolf and on your own. A lot of times there's people that experience people being attracted to them all the time. It's like, you know, anywhere they go, you've heard stories like that, like anywhere they go, people just are naturally drawn to them. They might revert from that and kind of rebel from it and kind of become a lone wolf because they don't like that energy. They don't like all the attention. They don't like everything that comes with that. And yeah, so it's like, I feel like it's one of two ways for a lot of the old souls that are existing here. But either way though, that's what you are. And so when you realize your power, and that's why they go so hard to poison us and to limit our superpowers, that's why I just want the old souls to know that. That's why I say this is a time to rejoice, because never again will there be a time where we're the underdog in this realm. Like, we have completely transcended this realm. We've transcended it, and we are learning, and we are teaching ourselves, and we raised the frequency of the planet. Like, we did it. So give yourself that power and give yourself that acknowledgement. Like, the people that came here on that frequency, they know who they are. You know who you are. And you did it. And we didn't do it alone. But that's why I will always say, please express gratitude to Source, express gratitude to nature, express gratitude to your ancestors, those who came before you, that laid the framework for you and your vessel to be here today. Because that's what it is. It's all about continuing on and progressing in evolution. The beings that existed here, that kind of trapped people here, kind of put a cap on the beings here creating that cycle of reincarnation. That's what they don't want. They want you to go into the light. And I know a lot of people aren't going to really like this. A lot of people may not resonate with it. And if it does not resonate with you, it's not for you. But they want people to go into that light, that moon, that blinding light. That is their magic. They operate off of chaos energy. And although chaos energy does not mean that it is inherently evil, because us 9 ether melanated beings, we have chaos energy existing with us. But see, it is a time and place. That is their essence though. They utilize and they harness that chaos energy to blind you. And that is why in the religious text, they will tell you, go into the light, come into the light, that light will literally zap you back here. You know what I'm saying? When you realize that if you were to just go into the void, go into it, and realizing that it's a portal. Because what do you think of when you think of the woman? And that's going to be a whole different video. So I'm going to pretty much be wrapping it up here. But when you think about the woman in the womb man, right? We are portals. And within our womb is the void of creation, the same void known as space, right? So do not fear yourself. Do not fear the darkness. They have misconstrued our conception of darkness and made our own people scared of their own essence. That is how you get swindled out of your birthright. So old souls should feel rejoiced during this time, because we are doing the work to raise the frequency and transmute the energy that is existing here into higher frequencies and higher states of being. We are changing the trajectory of our reality. And that's what true alchemists do.